How bad do you think this might be? What are the odds, for example, of dipping back into a recession, actually?
So the irony is, we think over the horizon, 2021 is going to be a very strong year with GDP growth probably 3.5% or greater. Although a lot of that growth will be in the back half of the year. The challenge is, as you mentioned, is getting through the next 6 months, and we're seeing resurgence intensify all through the country, and we're seeing mobility and engagement uh, fall off in those places where the resurgence is affecting or threatening the healthcare capacity, hospital capacity. If that continues, which it looks like it is continuing, you're going to see more and more cities fall off. El Paso is an example, Wisconsin, Chicago, Utah, Colorado. We're all seeing that kind of mobility engagement fall off, which indicates growth will slow. And so we'll have to see what the fourth quarter looks like. It is possible we could have negative growth if this resurgence gets bad enough and mobility falls off enough so that local officials, even though they don't want to do more restrictions, they don't have a choice. So the next couple of quarters is going to be very challenging. The good news is over the horizon, things will get better, but we've got to get through the next 6 months, and we've got to do more on mask wearing, social distancing, because a vaccine will help us eventually, but it's not going to help us get through the next 3 months.
So negative growth, and for a couple of months, that adds up to a recession, as I understand it. So you're not ruling out that possibility.
I'm not ruling out. If you'd asked me a month ago, I would have said we're going to grow in the fourth quarter as much as 4 or 5% annualized. But I think with this resurgence, I think the risks are all to the downside. The only good news, if there is negative growth and the rebound stalls, our own view is it'll be temporary. It'll last for a quarter or two, but it's a possibility.
At this point, might that prompt Fed action? Could you, for example, increase your bond buying, or is that just not the right response to the problem we're looking at?
I don't know if that's the right response. I do think it's critical that the 13.3 programs, these public market backstop programs, and programs like that support Main Street and the PPP, that they continue beyond year end. I think that's very important. I would continue our bond buying at the same pace that we're buying. If we needed to, if this got bad enough, we could extend maturities, but I wouldn't increase the size. But I think there are tools we have, and we're going to have to watch this very, very carefully.
So you said maybe 3.5% GDP growth in 2021, back end loaded, or better, better. Fair enough, or better, but back end loaded. Is that entirely contingent upon an effective vaccine sometime in the middle of the year?
Yes, it is. And so what we're assuming as our base case is we'll have a good vaccine or more than one vaccine by the end of this year. But the first order of business is going to be to immunize about 20 million healthcare workers in the United States. That could take up until, say, March or April. And then in March or April, our expectation is that you'll have broad dissemination, but it'll take a number of months to get the population inoculated. So we're going to spend a good part of 2021 socially distancing, mask wearing, but the back half of the year is going to be better. And better times will be ahead again, but we've got to get through a very difficult period first. And that's where our focus is right now.